Good evening, welcome back to my channel, and this is Web3 Protocol Studies, where we take a concept and try our best to break it down, explain it for easier understanding. Alright, so my name remains Emmanuel Ifediora, and I'm a blockchain enthusiast and also a protocol engineer in the space. Yeah, and do well to follow me on X or Twitter. So today we're talking about a very interesting concept called Libp2p. So we'll see what Libp2p is, but before then we'll look at what P2P is and the features of P2P, features of Libp2p, and why exactly do we need Libp2p. Right, so let's dive right in. So first of all, what is P2P? What is peer-to-peer, right? So basically peer-to-peer is more like your peer-to-peer network is a distributed application architecture that sort of like divides or partitions tasks, workload or data amongst peers in the network, right? So in this network or in this sort of architecture, um, data is being partitioned amongst peers in that network, right? So it's more like um, the data have been it's more like the peers in the network are having a copy of the data so that anybody can access it within the network, right? So in this architecture, each peers or each node in the network more acts like a server and also acts like a client, right? Because if you look at our traditional server to client architecture, whereby we have one single server that takes request and gives response, all of that, because you just have that one single server. So whereby different clients has to like connect to the server, right? So anything could happen to the server, and that is it. So that is like a big red flag, like it's a big single point of failure. So now, with that being said about peer-to-peer network, what exactly is Libp2p, right? So Libp2p is basically what Libp2p stands for is just library peer-to-peer, right? So Libp2p is a framework or a suite of protocols that is used for building peer-to-peer applications, right? So this Libp2p is basically a framework that is used for building applications that support the peer-to-peer networking architecture. Yeah, that's basically what Libp2p is. So, but initially Libp2p, yeah, Libp2p is also being used as the networking layer for most systems we have today, such as IPFS. So, speaking of IPFS, IPFS stands for Interplanetary File System. So, originally, um, Libp2p was coined out of IPFS, right? It was a library that was created off of IPFS because initially, when the work of Libp2p started, there was no sort of like documentation or even there was no sort of documentation or yeah, there was no documentation to like for people to use, no reusability. It's just you come and you see people use it today and tomorrow that's it. So it was formed out of IPFS as a library for ease of reusability and all of that. So most systems today use it as their networking layer. We have if you look at the consensus layer of Ethereum, consensus layer of Ethereum uses this protocol for its networking layer. And also we have Algorand, we have other blockchains, we have Polkadot, we have the base layer 2, we have Stacknet and all of that. So these networks or these systems make use of Libp2p as their networking layer. Yeah. So we're going to talk about the features of Libp2p, right? So there are other features of Libp2p, but I chose these two instead to talk about. So we have the protocol IDs, right? So it says here that Libp2p protocols has unique string identifiers that are used in protocol negotiation process when a connection is first established, right? So it says it all. It says here that Libp2p protocols has unique string identifiers. So these are identifiers that are used in protocol negotiation process. So whenever you want to like establish a connection, you have to have access to that protocol ID that you can use to negotiate the process, right? You can use to negotiate the protocol process, right? So yeah, so we talk about, there's also another feature is also protocol negotiation. So whenever like we said in protocol ID, whenever a peer is dialing out a new stream, so Libp2p, this library it has features in it that enable that we send the protocol ID of that protocol you want to use, right? Maybe it could be TCP to send the protocol ID of that protocol to use, then such that the listening peers or other peers in the network will now, the peer you are trying to like connect to will now check for incoming, will now check the incoming protocol ID against other registered protocol handlers. So that's how it works. So why exactly do we need Libp2p, or why do we use Libp2p, right? So we use Libp2p because it is modular for modularity purpose. So Libp2p, like I said, it was coined off of IPFS. So and it was designed to be modular, therefore allowing developers to like take different components of Libp2p just to meet the needs of the application. Remember we talk about the application being a peer-to-peer application, so it has to be a peer-to-peer application. Alright, so Libp2p was designed to be modular, whereby you can take any part or any component you want just to meet your application's need, right? So another reason why we use Libp2p is because it has this extensive transport configurability, whereby it provides certain specifications that provide support for different transport protocols, right? So it has features that support different transport protocols such as TCP, UDP, and QUIC protocol. Yeah, so Libp2p supports these transport protocols. Another reason why we use Libp2p is for security reasons, right? So Libp2p includes several security features such as peer identification, peer identity verification using public key cryptography, and encrypted communication between peers using modern cryptography. So having said, so I started like working on just like I wanted to implement or play around, see how I could like build on top of this Libp2p using their library in Go. So when I initially started working on it, I made my research, I did my research, and I found out that I had to like create a node. So I needed a key pair, I needed a private key and a public key for a node or for a peer. Then I needed a peer ID also. So for me to get my peer ID, I need to hash my public key, either my public key or my private key, but I choose to use the public key instead. So I have to hash my public key for me to get my peer ID. So the digest, the digest of my public key is going to be my peer ID. So it is this peer ID that is being used for security reasons in the Libp2p library, right? Yeah. So another reason why we use Libp2p is because it's resilient, right? So it offers resiliency. So we know that P2P network is often more resilient than the traditional client to server models that we have. As reason being that there's no single point of failure in peer-to-peer network, right? Because there is no that single server that that clients has to like make requests to get something from the server, right? So if we it's more like this in this network. If we have different peers in the network, right, I can easily reach out to this peer to get something I need, or I easily reach out to the other peer to get what I need. So when we say Libp2p offers resiliency, it's Libp2p actually offers resilience in the sense that even when a yeah, so even when a peer is offline, yeah, the network is still accessible or available for anybody to get information from, right? Yeah, so that's what we mean by resiliency. So when Libp2p offers resiliency, in the sense that when a peer goes offline, the network is still active, still available, still accessible. So that is what Libp2p does. So that being said, hopefully, like I said, I've been working on. I tried implementing Libp2p in Golang just to play around and get my hands dirty with this concept and to like solidify my understanding, right? So I started working on just a little side project just to like solidify my understanding. So hopefully in the next session we'll talk more about that. So till then, take care, peace and love.